woman walking through walls. So this is the very first time I've written anything about this. It has over the years been the first weird paranormal experiences I had, but it was the last. This was the thing that kinda started my heavy interest into ghosts and the paranormal side. This starts years ago when I was about 6 or 7. It's a little foggy about the age, but it happened after my father passed of a heart attack when I was 6. How this happened was the following. One night when I was young, it was in the middle of the night. My mother and sisters had been sleeping, and we lived in a 3-bedroom apartment on the first floor, and I was the last bedroom, which was beside the bathroom, and then the middle room where my sisters and the master was my mother's room. The living room was just off the corner with a small dining area. The kitchen was a small galley-style kitchen with a space to see into the kitchen. I wish I could remember what time this happened, but I just can't, so I woke up to hearing super loud banging noises from the kitchen, like trying to find something, and just getting angry. I get out of my bed and go to check it out, thinking it's my mom. She went a little crazy after Dad died, cooking for some strange reason. So I got out of my bunk beds. I was on the top bed, slowly climbed down and didn't turn the hallway light on for some reason, but slow walked down the short hallway until I was just before my mom's room, and then looked into the kitchen, but nothing was there. The noises stopped. Then in a blink I saw what I thought was a white figure with black hair and no feet. The figure didn't seem like it wanted to hurt me, just like it was passing through, kinda floating into my mom's room. The thing didn't look at but it felt like it walked right to me. Now as an adult, I have this sort of better idea of what happened due to my heavy interest into the paranormal mixed with other experiences that came after. What I plan to do is pick together everything and make a timeline, so maybe it'll fill in blanks of my memories. I do also get these dreams of me trying desperately to get back to my old apartment, but I always end up going to places I've never even been to, then it's just starting up over and over again. Ever since then I can see, heat, and feel them. When I told my mother, she had said that it was someone by the name of Louisa, who was the woman my middle is after. Apparently Lautria was my mother's best friend who died in a car accident by a drunk driver. I never got a last name or any more details. All I know is that my parents were supposed to go a party with her that night, but they couldn't find a sitter for my sisters. I wasn't born yet, but my sister doesn't remember her or anyone else in my family that's living. My mother passed when I was 17, so I can't really ask her. Rip Louisa, whoever you were. Thank you for being a friend and protector for my mother. Thank you for writing. This has always wanted me since I saw her, so please no stupid comments. Also, I will be edited it as I read it over and hopefully remember more. And I do have other stories of fucked up paranormal shit if you want to know more. Scars for unknown reasons. Hey again. I hope you liked my first story, which is currently being edited. That will be posted shortly. I do have my next thing that happened that not sure what to call it, but it ended up in 3 stitches in my forehead with no explanation as to why. I'll give you a little backstory. So this happened probably about a year or so after the first story. I want to say I was 8ish, and I believe it was a weekend because I was at a friend's birthday party. Do I remember the party? And I don't remember who it was for or where it was. During this time it was still really stressful for my mom and sisters due to it only being a year or 2 after my dad passed. I know my mom was and my sister were in the bathroom, and it was after I had already gone to bed at this point for a few hours. I know I started dreaming a lot at that point, and these were super scary dreams, and now looking back they were night terrors, so I don't know if I was in one, but probably was, so I'm going to try to describe how it felt. I remember having a super heavy body, like I was sleeping, but I felt something make me sit up straight and looking around confused like where am I, and my body was so heavy I couldn't control my arms or even my head. I remember thinking, what the hell am I doing? Why am I awake? Next thing I know, I move towards the rails of my bunk beds, still in the same room at the back of the apartment close to the bathroom, and I just jump right to the floor without using the ladder on the other side of the bed to my pillows. Once I land on the floor, I think it takes me a few seconds to stand up, and I turn around looking at the mirror, at one of those dressers with a huge mirror on it, and I blinked, then I stepped forward to the dresser. There wasn't much room, and while keeping my eyes locked on the mirror, I placed my hands on the dresser, and for no reason I mashed the corner of my head off the dresser. I'll post a pic of the scars right now. Then, without showing any fear or crying, I touched the spot on my head that was starting to gush blood from the wound I made. After that, I calmly walked to my door and opened it and said, "Ma, I think I'm bleeding." After that, I have no memory of the hospital trip or getting the stitching done or even coming home. My memories have always been fuzzy and missing details, so there must be parts I'm missing, which is why I've decided to start finally writing it down. Maybe I can regain details. Thank you very much for writing. If you have any idea or what could have caused this, or have any experiences like this, I'd love to know about them. And I will be adding details as I hopefully have more work with in the future.